evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another fantastic edition of Sit Back with Shaq and Anu. It is finally a Thursday.
It is finally a Thursday. And of course, the queues, the petrol queues have got reactivated, if you've noticed.
I was in it for an hour.
Yeah, I was actually in it for about 20 minutes, and with 3 cars to go, petrol ran out.
Oh no, that's the worst. That's obviously.
But I had just 5 liters left on my quota for this week, so I thought.
You're one of those,
of
those horrible
individuals
who just basically pumps 5 liters and 8 liters. And, anyway, cricket is back as far as the fever is concerned. Sri Lanka, of course, are ready with the Asia Cup. We've got Farveez Maharoof, of course, in the studio with us, and Farveez, of course, ex-Sri Lankan player, and right now an international commentator. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shaq. Thanks for having me, and good to be back.
Good to be back. Yes, of course. Farveez, of course, has been with us a fair amount of times as far as our shows are concerned. As always, lots of fun as we are all set to review the Asia Cup, which is starting on Saturday.
Yeah.
Monday. Saturday, eh?
I think so.
Saturday.
Well done. That just shows our level of enthusiasm for the national game. Well, what is the de facto national game?
That has just set the tone. Not sure when the opening match is.
Absolutely. But I've done a lot of planning because I try to organize so many events, so I have to know when Sri Lanka is playing. So all those days are covered at this particular hangout.
That's right, of course, spiritual upliftment is all sorted out as far as that is concerned. Time for us to dive straight into the show. Don't forget, thank you so much to our wonderful sponsors. Dara's on the show with us. And as always, we've got Deal of the Day. Great stuff that you can win.
Yeah, absolutely. Every day we give something away courtesy of Dara's. And today we have a very, very interesting couple of items. I'm sure you will love it, especially if you're worried about your looks.
Yes, like we are.
We don't really care about
ideal for us. It's the Dara's Deal of the Day. Let's take a look what it is. Lovely. All right.
So it's very simple. We're going to show you the deal of the day right now. You need to go on the Dara's app, on your phone ideally. Take a screenshot of this exact, deal that we are going to show you right now, this exact product, and please send it in a WhatsApp message to this number that we are going to show. It's on your screen right now, 075 011 7777. Okay. Basically, what happens is the one lucky winner who our remote producer will pick, producer in Candy will pick, walks away with, with this deal of the day.
Simple Pimple Bundle. Ideal for us. Thank you, Daraz, for being a part of the show.
I wonder who named it.
So go for it. Take a screenshot on the app and send the details in to us. As always on the show, we start the show off with a poll. The poll, of course, is always about the guest on the show, about what we're discussing. So it's actually about cricket today. So we'll get into the daily poll before we dive in deep conversation with Farveez Maharoof in the studio.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz, where you explore and discover whatever you want, whatever you need. All you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
So without further ado, here is today's daily poll. As always, you have to give us a yes or no answer only, and of course send in your answer as a WhatsApp message to our hotline 077 669 1590. And here's the question: can Sri Lanka overcome their problems playing spin against opponents stacked with spinners? Yes or no answers, and at the end of the show, we'll tell you the yeas or the nays as they stand.
Right now, we're obviously going to get into this question also with Farveez in the show as we move along. But we'll start off with Sri Lanka. Had a very good outing against Australia. a few months ago, but it seems like years ago right now because it's been such a long time.
It really hasn't. It's just that we are used to
exactly.
cricket on a more frequent basis.
That's right. I mean, it was what in March? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Not too sure.
I see what you mean.
But do you think they can actually take that winning momentum into the Asia Cup?
I think Sri Lanka is unfortunate that the scheduled LPL couldn't kick off.
Yeah.
That would have been an ideal situation where, all the players who are in the squad as well as the youngsters who were part of the setup would have had an ideal go at it. But I mean, saying that, Sri Lanka Cricket did manage to organize a T20 league tournament, which was quite competitive. I was there as a commentator and I saw, and most of the players who have done well in that tournament has got a look into these Asia Cup squad. So I think overall, taking that momentum to the Asia Cup, I think it's a bit too far. But confidence-wise, I think our players, our guys are on a good note when it comes to our batsmen. But my biggest worry is the fast bowling department. Because if you take our fast bowling department, none of the players who are playing as genuine fast bowlers have made any debuts in the T20 setup yet.
Right.
So that's a huge concern that I have. Apart from Chamika and Dasun, who are going in as all-rounders, they do have a lot of experience. But apart from that, Matisha, Dilshan Madhusankar, Pramod Madhushan, and Asita Fernando. I mean, some guys have played a bit of one-day cricket, some test cricket, but none of them have made their T20 international debut. So that's a huge concern for me. But batting-wise, I'm good. I'm actually quite happy with the setup because most of the players were informed during SLC T20 league. And spinners, we are fine. I mean, Mahesh Tikshana and Manindra Vasaranga will probably, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, will get the job done. But biggest worry is the fast bowling department.
So actually, Sri Lanka is organizing this time's Asia Cup, right?
Yeah, we are hosting it.
But we are hosting it outside of the country. How does that work?
I think it was supposed to be here till the last moment. I think Sri Lanka Cricket, along with all the authorities, did try to have it in Sri Lanka. But I think logistical wise and the issues what we are going through, and also what I was told was ACC was reluctant to have it since some of the sponsors were trying to back off if it was in Sri Lanka.
Right.
So those are the reasons I was told. So, and hosting 6 teams at a time under these circumstances would have been tough as well. I mean, if someone can do it, that's Sri Lanka, because if things were worse when Australia were here.
Yeah. That's exactly my point. That's what we were basically talking about.
I was part of that setup because since commentary we were traveling everywhere, and we saw it was nicely organized. Australians were happy. There was some shortcomings, but everything was patched up nicely. Pakistan the same, but Shaq, 6 teams on the go. Also maybe 3 teams. 4 teams did play the playoffs as well. Trying to qualify one team. So if you ask me, it would have been a tough work. But if someone can do it, that's Sri Lanka for you. I think our government as well as Sri Lanka Cricket have done a wonderful job hosting the Australia and the Pakistan series. For certain reasons, I think what I was told was regarding sponsors.
Right.
Most of them were trying to back off if it was in Sri Lanka.
I believe the broadcaster also basically raised a concern.
That's another case that I was told as well. So, sometimes it's good that he left also. Things what we are going through at the moment, slowly but surely we are getting back to normalcy, but we are not yet there.
Right.
And having a magnitude of this status tournament must maybe a little bit too much, still early doors to hang over. Have to held it over since we are still having some sort of restrictions and stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
but I was just thinking purely from footfall to the country kind of perspective, it would have done wonders.
Ideal, if you look at per team, if you check, let's say Indian team, usually they come up with about 15 players and 15 staff.
Right.
So that's 30 numbers. And if you take all the 6 teams, there would have been about 200 rooms were taken off. I'm talking about the hotel rooms.
Right.
And then there's commentators, the broadcasting
and
crew.
The fans.
And the fans. It would have been ideal because I'm sure India-Pakistan game would have been a sellout.
Yeah, for sure.
And most of the Indians will fly down as well as Pakistan.
Absolutely. So they haven't played each other recently, right? In
the last World Cup.
T20 World Cup.
Last 20 in Dubai, again in Dubai.
Yeah.
So I think it's sad that it left, but you just can't.
I'm
you
glad
just have to
we're
move
doing
on with it.
Yeah, I know. It's like Anu said. Especially at the time where we are requesting tourists to come down, this was like a tailor-made,
Absolutely.
on the platter.
You're correct. Even when we are commentating, that's one thing we said always.
Yeah.
Which is Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
We're trying to bring this, the foreigners as much as possible, tourists as much as possible, and also as a player who have played 3 Asia Cups before myself, playing at home, and we won in 2004, and we were runners-up in 2010. So I know the feeling playing home against top opposition in Sri Lanka. So our guys will be missing that,
that
home advantage.
Yes, absolutely. But incidentally, on the tourist arrivals, just a side note, today we've hit 500,000 numbers, right?
For the month of?
No.
Oh.
So
Sorry.
a million. Let's get to a million first.
That's good.
Yeah.
Million by end of the year.
By the end of the year, I think that's very doable. Right?
Yeah. I mean, we're getting there.
Yeah,
We're getting
and
there.
certainly in December there'll be a lot more coming in. So True.
So, of course, it's pretty sad when you take a look at the Asia Cup. Everyone was looking forward to it being in Sri Lanka. Farveez, any surprises for you in the squad in the Asia Cup at the moment?
More than surprises, Shaq more unlucky, I think. I think Kasun Raditha, Bruno Fernando, and Dushmantha Chamira, our frontline 3 seamers, who probably will walk into this squad, did get injured. So I think that's where I think our boys were unlucky. I mean, I say our boys in the setup.
Right.
Because Dushmantha Chamira for me has been brilliant for the last 2 years with the white ball cricket, and he'll be sorely missed because he bowls with the new ball, he bowls in the death overs. So he does a hard job. But the other one, Bruno Fernando, who bowled so well during the T20 World Cup last time, bowled so well up in England last year, but he just keeps on getting injured. So that's a huge concern as well. And Kasun Raditha, unfortunately, was dying. He died for a ball and dislocated his shoulder. So I reckon in that way, I think Sri Lanka will be dealt big. But surprises, I think Matisha Pathirana is a surprise for me. I mean, surprise in a sense like he was identified as a T20 bowler very early on, and CSK picked him up. And now this is his chance to showcase his talents. Now he's been wanted by many leagues around the world, and you will be only judged by playing international cricket, as far as I'm concerned, when you start a career. So this is where I think this is Matisha Pathirana's era now. He has to get that responsibility, go out there and make sure that he gets the job done.
Just before we actually get into that question, do you think there's too much pressure on him right now because of you don't have your frontline bowler, but you don't have a B team either, but you're bringing in a debutant, a virtual debutant, and putting so much pressure on him on a big tournament like this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he'll be under pressure. Asitha Fernando, who has played one-day cricket and a frontline test bowler, he'll be under pressure. And everyone will be under pressure, especially playing India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. These countries are very good players in T20 setup.
Right.
So I think expectations-wise, our bowlers will have a lot of expectation and pressure. It's all about living in the moment.
Right.
Bowl a ball at a time. Because in T20 they say each ball is a game.
Right.
It's something that you have to be really careful of. So I reckon just back your skills. If you ask me, do we go as favourites? No, we don't.
Right.
But we could surprise a few people. So I think that's where that tag will suit us, I think.
Actually, now coming in as debutant to this stature of tournament, it is also a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah.
You can be the one that shines.
Yeah.
So it's not just so much pressure to deliver the goods because the whole nation is kind of pinning their hopes on you. But at the same time, why not, right? Grab the bull by the horns, and if you deliver the goods, you are the next in thing.
Let's just jump into that question.
That was Jehan who had sent that question. Have we got the right balance to meet the conditions and the opposition?
I think we do have, leaving aside the injured players, I think our combination is such, we usually play 6 batsmen, that is with this Dasun Shanaka at number 6. And then we do have 2 all-rounders, which is probably Chamika, not probably, they will be, like Chamika and Manindu Hasaranga, and the 3 bowlers. I think at the moment we have, I can see Chamika and Manindu playing that role at 7 and 8. 9, 10, 11, Mahesh Theekshana. Whether we go with 2 fast bowlers or we go with 1 fast bowler and another spinner, depends on the conditions and also the dew factor.
Right.
Because it's a night game.
Right.
So I reckon this is where, combination-wise we are fine. Because in batting we have enough experience. We have the Kusal Mendisas, the Rajapakshas, and Dhanush Gunatilakas, Charita Salanka, Dasun Shanaka, and there's Dhananjay De Silva making a comeback to this team. So I think batting-wise we are experienced enough. Spinners, yes, we are experienced enough. As I said, fast bowling is my main worry.
Well, you surprised that Dunit Malalagi hasn't made it into the squad?
If you ask me, Shaq, I think it's too early for him in T20 cricket. I see.
But his debut against Australia was fantastic.
Yeah, but the thing is, Shaq, what you have to understand, the conditions will be different.
Okay.
Right? In Sri Lanka, we made sure we gave slow pitches.
Right.
It's not easy for free stroke players like Warners and the Finch.
Right.
That's why they were not up to their best. That's where Malalagi, I thought, the way he handled himself, a competitor, fierce competitor, it's all good. But for me, in different conditions, straight away exposing him, it's a bit too early. And even up in Gaul, he made his test debut. That too, the surface was slow and it was ideal for his game. But for me, I mean, I made my debut when I was 19.
Right.
So I see myself in him when he was 19. But, you know, that's a big difference in us, our era as well. Because our era we played and the era now. I think that's where the authorities should be very careful of how to use Dunit Malalagi. He's an uncut diamond still for me.
Right.
He should be looked after, he should be polished properly, he should be, you know, included in certain tours where he shouldn't be intimidated straight away.
Okay.
So for me, I think there was a big ha-ho saying that either he or Praveen Jayavikram as the left-arm spinner. I think the right call was made by taking Praveen Jayavikram because I don't see Malalagi straight away in these conditions because he has to be slowly built in rather than just throwing him straight away to the deep sea where it might be too much. I mean, people might say that, you know, he has done well. He has a great, he's a great
That's exactly what they're saying.
head on his shoulders. He's good, and he said, yes, he's good. I mean, I known that boy from under 15 days. But I'm saying, you know, when he's looking at his size, he's looking at his stature. You know, this is where I think the selector has done a good job in not rushing him straight away, but slowly but surely build him up.
What are the conditions like? Are they all fast wickets?
No, it won't be fast. It will be true batting pitches. I mean, usually up in Dubai, the ground is quite big. I would say quite big in a sense, like it's not massively big, but it's a decent size of a head.
Yeah.
Up in Sharjah, it'll be more like a cement because it's grassless. You know, it may turn depending on the dew again.
Yeah.
But Dubai is a pitch. I mean, it's something players definitely love batting there.
Right.
We saw during the World Cup as well. They absolutely. You know, the batsmen loved it, but dew factor, I think that's where the teams will be a bit in the today and tomorrow when they train under lights, they'll be keeping a very close eye on the dew, especially if it's dew. It's a no-brainer. You got to chase and you know put.
When it's a batting wicket, Sanjeeva has a question, Anu.
Yeah. How do you think Hasaranga will perform against players who are now familiar with his bowling variations after the IPL?
Yeah, good question. I think that this is where I said that during the last World Cup when we did the Pod show again. The mistiness won't stay for long. Yeah. This is where, as a bowler, especially not the batsman, even the batsman, the weak points will be targeted. Similarly, bowlers' mistiness doesn't last for long. Yeah. Especially because Vanindu, Mahesh, all these guys plays in all sorts of leagues now. They be nicely looked into by the batsman. So this is where they got to be more consistent in their lines and lengths and bring different variations into the play. We've seen with Ajantha Mendis, we've seen with Muralidharan, we've seen with Lasith Maling, all unorthodox bowlers who survived in international cricket for a long time. Why? Because they bought different variations in different times. So this is the challenge going forward. Mahesh and Vanindu are still very young and not even 25. I mean, they have a long career ahead. This is where I think they'll be tested. Especially, it's a good question asked by, I think, Sanjeeva, by asking because IPL, most of the Indian players will be doing everything. So similarly, you take, in Afghanistan, Ramullah Gurbaz, the opening batter. He played for Jaffna Kings in the LPL. And teammates of Mahesh Station and Vanindu Hasaranga. And he kept wicket as well.
Right.
Yeah. So he knows all the
seen,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So this is something that you got to live with it as a professional player. And you know, your consistency, your variations, and your ability to survive in any conditions will be tested in these conditions.
That's what I actually wanted to ask you. Do you feel a wicket keeper actually reads the spinner far better than anybody else?
100%. Definitely,
really?
Because he's there right behind the bowler. He sees all the different actions, the wrist position, where is it coming from. For example, with Mahesh Station, when he bowls the off cutter, then he bowls a carom ball, and he bowls a googly sometimes. With Vanindu Hasaranga, it's a flipper or a slider or a leg spinner or a googly. He sees everything.
So I mean, as a wicket keeper, like for example, like you said, especially with franchise cricket all over, you've got people playing together. But as a wicket keeper who's been keeping for a bowler that is going to be in an opposition team, it's still easy to read when you come out to bat.
100%, and also he will probably share everything in the dressing room of the international team. So
It's a split second, isn't it, Farveez?
I mean, I'll tell you an example. I mean, in 2010 when we were playing IPL, right? Paul Collingwood was in our team,
right?
And Kevin Peterson was in Royal Challengers Bangalore team.
Right.
One thing he said before we started analysing the play, he said every time Kevin, when he plays towards mid-on against a fast bowler, whether it's the mid-on fielder is in the 30-yard circle or is in the 15-yard, not the 15-yard, trying to save the single, he'll run. So mid-on fielder has to be a gun fielder. There's always a run-out chance. So this is in 2010 I'm talking about. Not even talking about his weak points. So similarly, Gurbaz, who played LPL with them, played probably with them in the T10 out in Abu Dhabi as well. Right. We have a big say in it. And also RCB and Chennai Super Kings players will talk about them. So nothing to hide. Everything is, if you put in data, there's a brain center which has all the data. You can find anything, even us. If you want some bowler in any other country, we can get that.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think cricket has evolved as normal lives we have evolved and everything, and technology has taken a huge step far ahead, and everything is up there. So I think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's probably in the middle.
Okay.
Mistiness has to remain, but with all these technologies, mistiness won't last long.
Because we believe that, for example, the old school thinking of players gone by feel that, listen, you shouldn't be actually playing in leagues because they get to know you more.
You're giving the farm away. Right?
Exactly.
Let me put it this way, Shaq. Now, I will put myself in that shoe, and I'm retired, but still I too played league cricket.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, as you said, the old school thinking of you have to play test cricket, you have to play one-day cricket, that's only the country. Those days are gone.
Right.
Right. You take every country, to name one country who stops them playing from other leagues. Apart from India, because India can do it. Since IPL is paying so much money, they can survive.
Right.
But rest of the world, tell me one team does it. No one can do it, because end of the day, this has become a profession where it's sometimes easy money and it's ridiculous amount of money, and players naturally get tempted. I've recently Trent Bolt.
That's right.
He said no to a central contract. No, our days we will play for 2 years. We don't get a central contract.
But isn't that detrimental to the game?
It's on a hindsight, yes, it's a bad thing where people, the players refusing central contracts in their home country is not the way to go. That I definitely stick by that, because your priority should be playing
for the country.
And when your country is not playing international cricket, you could go and play some sort of a league and earn some money. That is fine. But to refuse a central contract, I think that was just not good for world cricket. That's how I say it.
Is your thinking about how Sri Lanka, and Sri Lankan players operate, that country comes first, is it shared by pretty much everyone? Or?
I think no one has refused to play for the country. Everyone has played, and the latest example is Vanidhu Hasaranga. When he was supposed to go for the 100 ball, he seeked NOC, but the board called and said, I think rightly so, just before Asia Cup and a World Cup coming up, this is not the right time to give it to you. So he didn't turn up, and possibly after the World Cup, maybe we won't have much T20 cricket. Then the South African League, that Dubai League, then the IPL, these players can go and play those. So I think this is where the administration has got to be really careful of how to use the players as well.
Right.
And it's very tricky situation. I mean,
of course.
As a player, when you're getting thousands of dollars just playing for 1.5 months, you're a human being. You get tempted to that, right?
Yes.
But this is where a professional comes in as a player. And the administrators, they've got to be very smart how to tackle those situations.
Because I think this is something that is really a talking point in the cricketing world right now.
It started when we played.
Really?
In 2008, when the IPL came in first, I remember when we were picked up in the first IPL, the stories we have to go through, and the slack we got as well from certain administrators those days. So life moves on. End of the day, I'll openly say it, I was blessed to play for 3 years in IPL. Because the exposure I got in world cricket, I played alongside my childhood hero, Glenn McGrath. That was, if you ask me, one of the achievements in my cricketing career. One of the top would be that.
Right.
So that actually allowed me to do that. So similarly, not only financially, in this situation, you play with players from abroad and you learn a lot. Like in my dressing room, it was Daniel Vettori, Shoaib Malik, A.B. de Villiers, Paul Collingwood. Look at them. You learn so much from your preparation.
Right.
So our youngsters, definitely, even LPL, we should, when the time is right, a lot of big players should come. Our guys will learn from them in training and in the dressing room. So learning will never stop, Shaq. I still learn though I'm retired.
Right, right.
So this is where I think it's a tricky one.
Yeah,
it's a tricky one, but it has to be. It has to be.
I think you can balance your
it the way it out.
I think the only problem, the biggest talking point, of course, is the real reason behind the talking point is the fact that lots of franchise cricket is popping up.
Yeah.
So much so it's very difficult to actually even sort them out around an international calendar.
Yeah.
And it gives the option for players to choose where do you want to go, which shouldn't be the case.
No, not franchise cricket right round the year is not good. Even I agree with
Yeah.
you. I think recognized franchise leagues should be given a window. I think that's the way forward because life is moving in that way. I mean, it's like a bit like football now.
Yes.
It's becoming like that. So
exactly.
I think this is where ICC as well as with their home, the members like home board, got to get along and create that window where international cricket won't be disturbed that much. And this is where I think our boys have been wonderful so far. Yeah. No one has refused to play for the country. They've always, put their hands up and gone and played. Latest example, Vanidhu Hasaranga, what he said, he said, fair enough, he's going to, turn up for his country.
Yeah.
Take that period to rest and recover and, reunite himself for this tournament. So I think our boys have handled it well. Recently, Trent Bolt, that was a biggest surprise for me, and I think that's a very bad note in a player's career.
And Shaq, I think there's a saturation point for all of these things. The franchise cricket is popping up now because they see that the money is good.
Huge.
Yeah, the money is good because not just for the players, but for the people who own the franchise.
Yeah, and also broadcasting rights.
Yeah, they're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, literally. So, but there's going to be a saturation point. So, you plateaus out. Then you finally find.
This is what we thought for IPL now. See where IPL is.
On that subject, I might not necessarily particularly agree with you, thinking that our boys obviously have played it smart. I believe the fact that I think give our boys another 3 years for them to actually get right to the top of the top 10, in the ODIs and the T20 rankings. Then there might be a question to ask because maybe right now it's difficult to contend with the superstars in.
No, you can't. I mean, only this year. In the IPL, we had about 5 players in the IPL.
Yeah.
Before that, for about a few years, we didn't have any players in the IPL.
Except for Lasit.
Lasit Maling only.
Only Lasit.
So I think that shows our players have done pretty well. The players who were picked up. When you do well in international cricket, that's where you get highlighted.
Yeah.
And you be picked up by top franchises. That's what they do. They scout you for a long time. They see your program. I mean, how you are bringing yourself to the next level. So this is what. The franchise owners are not stupid. They have their scouting program going on right around the world. They know what's happening and which player what does what. They know everything.
Right.
So I think our players, as you said, yes, they are making a name for themselves right now.
That's
Look at last 3 weeks. So many players were picked up in Dubai League, South African League, all this stuff. Which is, I think, that's a recognition for the players, the hard work they have done. But your main thing is to play for your country because one day when you're retired, people won't talk to you about what you did in franchise cricket.
Yeah.
They will always remember what you did for the country.
That's right.
Actually, I just want to take a step back about something else we discussed about the bowlers and how under pressure they are. You said that variation is the key thing to survive, long-term survival for a bowler because after a while everybody kind of reads your moves, right?
Yeah.
So who does that? Who kind of works on that? Is it the bowler themselves? I'm sure, but the coach, how many people get involved?
It's a team game. I mean, not only the bowler, the fast bowling coach, the head coach, and there's 365. There's a computer analyst who works there with you always. So these guys with the coaching staff got to get together and make sure that the mysteriness, as I said, or the consistency of a bowler lasts long.
Right.
The bowlers have a shorter career.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Every time is a shorter career for a bowler. Batsman, if you're decent enough, you'll have a longer career. So that's where I think bowlers got to be really smart how they sustain themselves.
And injury stricken all the time, more often.
I think that's I keep on saying every time. Fast bowlers match fee should be triple than the batsman.
Because they have shorter careers and they get injured faster. So actually, who actually is more fitter, do you think, in your opinion?
It's difficult to say, man. I mean, it's like, there are some people fitter in the gym, some people fitter in the park running, some people are fitter in, running between wickets, how quick they are. So, how fit you are, there are ways of doing it. But as far as I'm concerned, if you are fit enough to finish a game on high intensity game and you don't fall under pressure
Yeah.
and under the heat, I think you're fit enough.
Right, we had a question. Dilan, why is Angelo Matthews not being considered for the shorter format?
I think since he was dropped after the West Indies tour last year, February, March, I think he has not been playing. And if you ask me, Shaq, I think with Angelo's age as well, and he has not played white ball cricket for a while, and this is not the right time for him to make a comeback. For him to make a comeback, I think he should go back to domestic cricket, in white ball especially, perform himself, and that's where I think he was a bit unlucky as well, because LPL would have been an ideal stepping stone for him as well. He was supposed to captain his franchise. If he had done well, story would have been different. But since, you know, what I heard was he's not been considered, that's why he didn't play the 4-team tournament which was organized by SLC.
Right.
Oh, right.
He didn't play either that. So I think, for me, I think Angelo, he just played the 100 tests. At the moment, I think he should stick to it. Because looking at him, and he's working really hard on his fitness to be in the park for a longer time. I mean, similar to him, I also went through the same regime where we just keep on breaking up. And similarly, Angelo, you know, how many times he has got injured in the last 3 years. It's just unfortunate. For the moment, I think Angelo should stick to, you know, being a test cricketer. And, you know, try and long his career as much as possible. Because I still feel Angelo Matthews is our best batsman in test cricket. And if he gets going, he's someone that, you know, I'll bet my money on to score runs for Sri Lanka. So I think at the moment, he should be considering just on test cricket.
What's the thinking behind choosing Dinesh Chandimal? Then after 66 matches as far as T20 is concerned, his average is still below 20 in 66 matches.
He's a standby player.
Yeah, he's a standby player now. But then, I mean, what is the point? I mean, you're actually occupying that space for another youngster to come in and, you know, prove his worth.
All I can see is selectors are only looking at his inexperiences. I mean, you take Niroshan Dikwal, who scored runs, I think 70 odd in one game during that SLC T20 league, and he was overlooked, not even in the standby. Whereas Chandimal, who didn't perform that well, is still in the standby list. So, only thing I can see here is the experience and the thinking of probably he has played the last series as well against Australia. So those must be the points that I look into.
Right.
But definitely, I get you where you're coming from, but. That's why I think he's not in the 17. And in the 17, there's Rajapaksha, there's Charita Salanka, there's Dhananjay, who has performed really well, has made a cut to the team. So I think it's a bit of a tricky one what the thought process was. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this was thinking behind it.
Because I mean, like you said, like you mentioned on Angelo, a fantastic test player. Dinesh Chandimal during the Australian and the Pakistan tour, has obviously performed exceedingly well in test cricket. So why, when you know that you are really good and doing well, would you not want to concentrate on that?
Yeah, I think that's where I think most of the players, when they age, when they get into their 30s and above, got to understand sometimes you just have to give up. If you're not in a consistent team, sometimes it's better off giving up one format and concentrating one thing. That's why I said Angelo, at the moment, I think this is his best format to, stay in the concentration and long his career. So with Dinesh Chandimal, it's very hard to say, Shaq. Now, if you take the last two LPLs, Chandimal, the first LPL, he as an opening batsman scored tons of runs. Second LPL, batted at number 6 as a finisher, scores tons of runs. And in getting into international cricket, in T20 cricket, he has failed. And in Test cricket, he scored runs. So that's a bit of a cycle going around. So that's where I think he and the selector should sit down and come to a conclusion where does Dinesh Chandimal will be giving his 110% for the country. What's best for him. So this is where I think the communication should happen.
Radio.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting. Can Dasun Chanaka come at number 4 or 5 since he needs some time to get settled? Lakmina is asking this.
Personally, I like to see Dasun at number 6. Why I say that? He's our finisher. Right? We have probably up at number 5 would probably be Banu Rajapaksha or Charita Salanka. They are playing purely as a batsman. And you don't want to chop and change too much because last 1.5 years, 2 years, Dasun has been batting at number 6. So why change all of a sudden? I don't think that's the way forward. I mean, players should be comfortable in one role. They should know their role. I think Dasun knows that's his role. Batting at number 6, play as a finisher. Wanindu and Chamika at 7 and 8, they know their role. So similarly, give them time to get settled into a position. And Dasun Chanak has done it for a long time. I think this is not the right time to change it.
No, back in the day, Shaq, we used to have pinch hitters, right? In the 1990s, 2000s,
I think everybody's a pinch hitter with how the
now it's stopped because I think pretty much everyone is in on the act.
It has become a computerized thing now. I mean, I remember Vanidhu Hasarang in the last year England tour.
Right.
In the one-day series, he came at number 5, scored a couple of half centuries, batted well.
Right. Yes.
Ever since then, as you said, I haven't seen him much being used. So, sometimes when you play against a big opponent, just catch them off guard by sending him.
Just change things around.
These are tactics captain should come up with and should be backed by the coach.
Yeah.
And since coach is just literally new to the system, maybe he's not comfortable doing it.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I've had a couple of chats with the coach, Chris Silwood. I mean, he seems a very interesting character. He thinks a lot about the game and he thinks out of the box. So maybe this is an option he could look into, especially against playing the top teams.
But he's pretty lucky, isn't he? He actually walked into the team, and the team's been doing well so far with the Australian tour. Yes, of course, we unfortunately didn't do well in the ODIs, but the T20 and the Test matches.
He's got something to write home about, certainly.
At the same time, and he's got tons of experience behind him.
Yeah, coaching England for a couple of years, something like that.
Quite a few years, as a matter of fact.
I had a chance of having a chat to him more time since I was doing commentary, and I see him every day in the mornings. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with how his thinking is, and I think it's quite suitable with our boys as well, because our boys need confidence. Yeah. They need a father figure sort of a coach, just like Mickey Yatt, and unfortunately with Mickey's record, he was asked to leave.
Right.
But with Chris Silwood, I think, as you said, he walked into a team where they were doing quite well, and in Bangladesh won the Test series. Yeah. And all this stuff is just picking up everything. But you need time.
Yeah,
you need time, and also playing Asia Cup against top 2 teams in India, Pakistan experience. I think he'll be tested.
He's certainly tested, because the moment he walked in, like you said, he was in Bangladesh for the Test series, and of course we had Australia full-on tour. Then you got Pakistan. Now you've got the Asia Cup. Then you got T20 World Cup. It's like, oh my God, do I really need to be a coach of the team now? I just took over.
I think he went back home after the Pakistan tour for a week. So I think that would have cleared his mind.
A week?
He'll be fresh to come back.
What's a week?
Put a Bhavanagar level. I got to get back into the Maya.
But like you mentioned, in the last few months, the team has actually been coming along nicely and gelling together. What do you actually put it down to? Anything special that they're doing, or?
Maybe different team culture. Since Chris Silwood and Navid Nawaz, the assistant coach, coming in. I mean, I've been with this team. I mean, when I say with this team, I mean with the commentary. I see a lot. As commentators, we see a lot. We see the warm-ups, we see the games, we see what's happening. I feel with the new setup, boys are much freer.
Yeah.
And they know each other's roles, and they're comfortable doing it, and they have a father figure sort of a character in as a coach, as well as the manager Mahinda Languda. I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Right.
And a lot of communication going on. This is what the feedback I'm getting. So that's a good thing.
That's great.
That's where I think for players, when they know their role is such and such, they're quite comfortable in that position. When they are not sure, you're chopping and changing here and there.
Absolutely.
Even they will be wondering what's going on. So I think at the moment, as you said, touch wood, so far going decent.
High praise is also deserved, it should be directed towards Sri Lanka cricket, the administration.
Definitely.
Because they've really, now you can see that they've got their act together.
They played the hard ball when they have to, as the administrators, but whenever the team has done well, they have given this team everything.
Right.
So, I mean, this is how it is. Even our playing days, Shaq, when you play well, yes, your contracts are high, your bonus was good, you're fantastic. But when you lose, you don't get anything. That's the way forward.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to pay much. When your team is losing, it happened to us as well.
Right.
So similarly, I think when we beat Australia, they offered $100,000 something for the entire team. So win, you'll get the rewards.
Yeah, I mean, just like a corporate culture.
Yes, absolutely.
This is challenge. This is a professionalism. As you said, corporate culture. You are given your KPIs and your targets.
Exactly.
You don't achieve that, you're fired. Similarly, as players, we don't get you don't get targets, but Your performance is the target.
I mean, your target is to win. That's the bottom line.
When you say win, you can't win every game.
You can't win
Obviously.
everything, but performance.
Even though you lose in passion.
Absolutely.
Lose in passion, compete.
Yes.
There was a time we did not compete.
Oh yeah, we just turned up.
Exactly, we just turned up, we get slacked and we are done.
Right.
We had nothing to be seen.
Yeah,
That's where
there was nothing to see there either.
That's where I think Pramod Vikram Singh and the co came in. They played the hard ball, and it's working now.
Right.
You have to give the praise where it deserves. So I think, as you said, SLC, along with the selection committee, have played the hard ball, and they are reaping the rewards at the moment. And these players, this is the challenge now. Anywhere they say, in Sinhalese they say, now they have achieved certain levels. Now remain there, or probably push the bar higher.
Right.
There's another question in from Vanessa. Where do you honestly think we are ranked among the Asian teams?
In T20, I think.
Yeah,
most likely in T20. Yeah.
I think, India will be on top for me, for sure, with the performance and the players what they have. Pakistan and us, I think probably Pakistan a little higher. And we go as third, and Afghanistan not far behind. Look at their teams, and when you say Afghanistan, the brand is Afghanistan, right? You say, oh, where do you cricket Ghana? Not like that. You take the players, those players play league cricket all around the world. There are about 7 to 8 players, very experienced in T20 teams. So
they fire away from ball one, no pun intended.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, they're used to it. Even before they play cricket.
At the moment, we will be slightly behind Pakistan, but not too behind.
Right.
So this is the tour. They could then actually go neck to neck.
And of course, our first game is against Afghanistan, the qualifier.
That's a crunch game. Telling you,
we're playing Afghanistan and then you're playing Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, you expect them to beat them, to be honest. And also Afghanistan, but Afghanistan for me on paper is a stronger team. Why I say that, you have a couple of missile spinners which they have conquered the world, Rashid Khan, Mujibur Rahman. And they have this fast bowler Fazal Faruqi, who's done brilliantly so far ever since he made his debut. Then you have a Navinul Haq who bowls a lot of slow balls and is very unorthodox for a fast bowler. And you got the Mohammad Nabis, the experience, Shinwari, the Sazais, the Gurbas. That's a solid team. And as I said, these guys play all over the league, so they know the art of T20. So I think it will be a crunch game come the 27th Saturday.
It's Saturday. We found out. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. First match is on Saturday. And just before we carry on, don't forget, our promo is still on, the deal of the day, courtesy of Dara's, our sponsors on the show. All you need to do is jump on the app and take a screenshot of the deal of the day.
Absolutely. We'll show it to you right now, in fact, just so that, just to refresh your memory. If you are worried about pimples, well, now you've got your solution, courtesy of Dara's. Here it is, the Simple Pimple Bundle. Go on your device and go to the Dara's app. Look for this, this deal. Take a screenshot of that and send us a WhatsApp message. Send us that image as a WhatsApp message to 075 011 7777. And, at the end of the show, one lucky winner is going to walk away with the Simple Pimple Bundle, courtesy of Dara's.
Can't wait to see who it is, because we're going to definitely reveal the name just before we are done with the show. Okay, Asia Cup, big match, of course, big tournament. Most are actually taking a look at it as a preparation to the World Cup. Some are, of course, not really putting any tags on Sri Lanka, apart from a surprise tag like you just put. But in your opinion, who are your star players for Sri Lanka? The ones that need to fire and sure win sort of players?
I think in batting it's going to be Kusal Mendis, and I can name probably 2 or 3 like Kusal Mendis. If he fires opening the batting, I think it'll be a major boost for Sri Lanka. And Dasun Shanaka, the captain, the finisher, I expect a lot from him. And in the middle order, Banu Rajapaksa and Charita Silanga, these 2 guys have to play out of their skin, because these 2 will be the 2 players who are going to get the run rate higher. And we know on their day they can clear the boundary pretty easily. So in our batting side on that part. And in the bowling side, I think it's obviously it's Vanindu and Mahesh Deekshana, my biggest trump cards. I think that 8 overs combined will have a bigger say in the end result come the first 2 games.
So when Chamira is obviously not part of it, and Dasun Shanaka is called to bowl, we've seen over the past few tours, he doesn't really bring himself on too many times. True. Now he's got no choice, but he needs to reluctantly bring him on, which might not necessarily be in favour of Sri Lanka.
I think I kept on saying this in commentary as well. I see Dasun Shanaka who could bowl 4 overs. I mean, he has the experience, he has the ability to do that. But for some reason, as you said, he's not trusting himself as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But now, since you said Dushmantha is not there and the 2 fast bowlers most probably who's going to play, or maybe the 1 fast bowler, is a debutant for the first game. So it's going to be too much pressure on him. So that's why I think Chamika will have a huge responsibility to fill in. I mean, still he's just playing in his second year in international cricket.
Right.
I mean, he has shown what he's capable of doing. So I think in case if you play 1 fast bowler and go with 3 spinners with Mahesh, Wanindu and another spinner, we may play 1 fast bowler, then Dasun has to bowl for sure.
Yeah.
He has to bowl. He has no choice. But in case if you go with 2 fast bowlers and 2 spinners and Chamika as the 5th bowler, then Dasun could be the 6th bowler. You know, he won't be thinking of bowling that much, but at least he might have to bowl a couple of overs. So I think batting at number 6, captaining and bowling is 2 to 4 overs. He will be the main key for Sri Lanka.
Farveez, what I want to ask is now, for the longest time, Sri Lanka's biggest problem is pace, fast bowling. The fact that we don't produce, regularly fast bowlers.
Right.
Shouldn't there be a special program that just focuses on kind of generating like 2 fast bowlers for each, for every couple of years?
Like Pakistan, they're like caraway bowlers.
They just come out of the woodwork, right?
They just literally they come out from the mountains.
Yeah.
There's a saying in Pakistan: "You shake a tree, fast bowler."
Absolutely.
So the best example, whenever we tour there, the hardest part is not to play in the match. At the practice, the net bowlers.
Wow.
They try to kill you because they want to show how impressive you can be.
Right.
So that's the worst part. But coming to Sri Lanka, I think, Anu, bowling fast cannot be taught.
Yeah.
It has to come naturally, and you can make a minor adjustment for them to get better. At the moment, we have Dushmantha and Lairu Kumara. Unfortunately, both these guys are getting injured, especially Lairu Kumara for the last year or so. So many injuries coming through. So any bowler will go through that period where
True.
But if they are fit, I think it's a very good combination to have, especially in Test cricket. For the moment, Dushmantha with his nagging ankle injury, he has to be carefully used. And I was told that he's going to get operation done soon after the World Cup. You've got to be very careful of after the operation how he recovers. And you have a Lairu Kumar who's is nurturing a muscular injury. How to recover from that and get in for him to bowl Test cricket, because I see Lairu Kumara as a great Test bowler.
Right.
He has to play more Test cricket for Sri Lanka. In T20 cricket, in one-day cricket, we are okay. I think we should be all right. But Test cricket, we need that tear-away fast bowler. Now we have Vishwa, you have Ashita Fernando, you have Kasundra. All these guys are 130s. On a good day, 135s. That's okay.
Yeah.
But if you play South Africa, New Zealand, England, Australia in their home countries, you need somebody on 140. If not, it'll be tough work for the fast bowler. So, bringing up programs, yes, that's something that SLC can do. They can do certain, which I'm pretty sure they must be doing.
I'm sure there are pace bowlers out
exactly.
there.
Especially in the east and up north, usually the tough boys are coming from that side. So
isn't it the stature though? We're not big boys, are we?
The thing is, when you're a kid playing cricket in this country, spinning, being a spin bowler, being a batsman, this is what the main focus has always, in my personal opinion.
That's thanks to people like Arvind and Sanat and people like
Muralidharan. So they made it look sexy. They made it look sexy, and obviously these young boys wanted to follow their heroes. But there has, what I mean, pace has never been a strong suit, as therefore there's not been a role model for people to emulate. So therefore, it's like casting a play. Everybody wants the lead role.
Also, the pitches in Sri Lanka, you take school cricket and club cricket. It's quite slow. It doesn't really encourage the fast ball to bowl fast. Right. So these are the issues that over time we have to try and sort it out as soon as possible.
It's been a long time. We're talking about school days. If you look at fast bowlers, Ramesh Ratnayaka was huge as far as Sri Lanka was concerned. Chaminda Vas, right? Farveez Maharoof himself, right?
I wasn't fast, I was medium pace.
Very modest. Very modest. Into the final few minutes of the show, Ashenka has a question for you. Do you enjoy being a commentator or your days as a cricketer more?
Okay.
People are listening to you. The check is about to be written. So let's hear what you have to say.
Farveez
This is the first time someone has asked me this question, to be honest.
That's nice.
I miss playing. Now today I went for a run at NCC today with a friend of mine because I'm supposed to play the Legends Tournament next month and trying to train myself. And I was telling my friend that I miss playing days purely because after the game you sit down with the players for a while, chit chat. That I miss.
Right.
That I miss, like even club cricket, whatever cricket I played. That's how usually I do. Soon after the game we sit down, have a cold beverage, and, you go home. That's the norm. So it actually happened today.
Right.
So I miss playing days for sure, but I'm enjoying my commentary.
Right.
I just started last year. It's been only 1.5 years, and I think I'm enjoying myself. I'm expressing myself and bringing my own point of view rather than copying somebody else.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, most of the time, that's what happens. Like a commentator comes in, they evaluate somebody.
Yeah.
So this is the advice I got from one of my gurus, Anjit Fernando sir. He said, just be yourself. You're good in evaluating cricket. You're good in judging things. Do that in the box itself rather than trying to do anything else. So similarly, I'm also still learning about it.
Of course.
For me, I'm enjoying it, but I do miss playing.
Right.
To be honest.
I mean, so you did mention about the Legends Tour. So it's all on the 10th of September?
No, that's the road safety tournament,
Okay.
which is
It's different.
The second one, which happened in Oman early this year.
Right.
Similarly, that's another one happening third week of September. So I most probably will be playing in that. So that's why you have to keep fit as well, because I haven't bowled a ball for about since I played in that final.
Right.
Last year, last year was it February? Yeah, February.
Right.
So I need to start all over again. So
And
body.
bowling you easily can pull something. Monoa adinawada kiyala hitaya.
Adenne one of the muscles.
Okay, so let's look at some of the key matches that are actually coming up, and I'm going to just give us your straight up honest opinion. I'm just going to pull out those matches that, of course, that Sri Lanka is going to be playing. Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan.
Crunch game. I think we have to be very smart to beat them.
Okay, so pendulum is swinging towards?
I think Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, I would say 50-50.
Wow, really? That
It'll be tough.
close?
It'll be tough.
It's going to be a tough game, okay. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh.
We have a very good chance because Bangladesh have not been performing well in T20 cricket, and change of captaincy, change of that, lots of problems in the...
Lots of internal issues are going
internal
on.
issues. So I think that 75-25. Sri
Right,
Lanka.
okay. Pakistan, India.
Wow. I think India will start as favourites because Pakistan just played T20 cricket against Netherlands, whereas some of these players played some in
West Indies and
as well
Zimbabwe.
as Zimbabwe. They have some competitive cricket.
Right.
So I think India probably will go 60-40.
Okay, but I mean, how much of a massive issue is Shaheen Shah Afridi not being there for Pakistan?
He'll be massive since, it's a good question you asked. Tactical wise, remember T20 World Cup, KL Rahul, both Rohit Sharma, left arm swing bowler. So from our days, Rohit Sharma, left arm fast bowler, ball back, coming back in. He always struggles. So this time Pakistan don't have that luxury. So I think that's a huge lose for Pakistan. As well as India, Bumrah.
Bumrah is not there, yeah.
Bumrah is massive miss. As well as Mohammad Shami is not been picked up. I'm surprised because you take the pace attack of India, it's going to be Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Avesh Khan, and the left arm fast bowler, I forgot his name, who played
Arshdeep
for
Singh,
Arshdeep
Arshdeep
Singh,
Singh,
left
yeah.
arm who played for Kings 11 Punjab. So that's inexperience for you. And you have Hardik Pandya, who similarly will do the job what Chamika does for us. So I think India also played the hard ball in dropping Mohammad Shami. In my team, I would definitely have Mohammad Shami 3 overs up front with a new ball. So India will struggle in that side as well because Bhuvi is not out and out fast bowler. He's medium, probably 130, 132 on a good day.
But it's just, I mean, he has an opportunity of swinging
if the conditions are suitable, yes. But Shaheen Shah Afridi or a Bumrah, they are bowlers for any surfaces, any conditions.
Right.
So both will be missed massively, including Dushman
Chamira. Sri Lanka versus Pakistan.
I think Sri Lanka will have a good chance, probably 60-40 again.
Okay. Sri Lanka, India.
70-30 India.
70-30 India. What's your take on Virat Kohli's drought for the last so many years.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite surprising for me. I mean, sometimes world-class players do come out of fit in at least one format.
Yeah.
Whereas in Virat's case, he has been struggling in all three formats. So
Yeah.
I think it's just not technical. I think it'll be mental. As I read an article about him saying, though he's been surrounded by people who he loves or people who loves him, but he still feel lonely.
I read that, yeah.
So I read that article and I'm like, okay, I mean, I understand what he's trying to say. When you're in that bubble, even to come out of it, this is where he needs serious help.
Yeah.
I mean, you may need some counseling. You know, these things happen to best of best. So Virat Kohli for me, it's a very big surprise for me because he has reached a height where most of the players will dream of achieving.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. So when
You think he reached it a bit too early?
I mean,
That
could that be?
Yeah, that could also be a reason, I feel.
he had all the attributes, he had the talent, he has the capabilities, so he reached it. I mean, as I said, now it's like a footballer who reaches the peak, then there was a time he'll come down. Similarly, what Virat career, what he had, right? Most of the players will be like, wow, can I achieve that? They'll be dreaming of that career.
Right.
So he has reached a bar so high, even for him to touch it again, it's tough for him.
Yeah.
So he will fail or not, if Virat Kohli retires tomorrow, he'll always be a great of this game who has done wonders. I mean, especially with not only his batting progress, I mean, look at his fitness progress.
Yeah.
The workouts he does and the way he looks after himself. That's an example for any youngster in any country.
Yeah. And even his humanitarian side, he's such a
exactly, humanitarian wise, I mean, he does so much. So I think, whether will he come out of this drought? I doubt it. I doubt it because T20 cricket, he just bang, bang, everything finishes. Test cricket, on a good day, if he score a good 100, that's the change that he may be wanting it. But T20 to come out of a rot, I think it's a tough one.
But it's so difficult to understand the amount of pressure an Indian cricketer Indian star cricketer goes through. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
When Sachin plays, there's more than 1 billion people watching him.
Oh, yeah.
And similarly, when Virat comes out to bat and Rohit Sharma comes out to bat, imagine the pressure what these guys
But the thing is this, Farveez, the thing is, Sachin never showed that the pressure actually affected him.
Yeah, there was a time. There was a time. Sachin was just a walking wicket. There was a time, but he came out of that lot.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So what did he do that to come out of it? I don't know what he did.
Right.
So this is where, especially after reading what Virat said in his article,
Right.
I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't, seeked help from a professional.
Wow, okay. Finally, the finalists for the Asia Cup.
Toughy. India for sure. I think Sri Lanka, if we win the first game, that is Afghanistan, right? I think we will be in the finals.
Oh, okay. And who do you think is going to actually walk off with it in that case? If it,
I would say India-Sri Lanka final, as far as how I see it.
Yeah.
Walking out of the final, I'll always go with my heart.
very good, very good. So basically what you're saying is you're pinning all your hopes on the first match for Sri Lanka.
As I said, it's a crunch game.
Yeah.
As I said, there's mystery bowlers in that team. And I said, that team is Afghanistan. They have good batters who, as you said, on their day, they can be devastating. Big power hitters, what they have, right? And they have a couple of fast bowlers who are, they are very, very good in T20 cricket. So, with our fast bowling progress is not the greatest.
Yeah.
We might struggle in that era. So that's where I think our spinners have to do much bulk of the bowling in probably the power play if it doesn't swing. If it swings, I think if Dilshan Madhushankar plays, he'll be a handful because Gurbaz, again, not a good player, ball swinging back in. Again, Rohit Sharma can be, another player who could, Dilshan Madhushankar can get if he's in a good form. So these are the technical battle, the one-on-ones you go through. Like as past players, as commentators, we see a lot of things. So these are the things that we pick up.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a commentator, I'll probably pick that up now.
Do you pass that on to the team?
No. I mean, our team, definitely.
Yeah.
Of
You,
course,
I mean,
yes.
you do pass it on.
I speak to most of the players. I mean,
Right.
whenever I see something, I'll be the first one to go and say it because it's running through my veins.
Right.
If I see something, I'll be the first one to go.
Is that okay to do it?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I mean, you're a commentator. You're supposed to be unbiased.
No, the thing is, you unbiased on commentary.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yes. But it's okay.
Of course, yes. I mean, how many times we've seen, like let's say, when we commented with our commentator colleague from a same country when the opposition is,
Right.
they said the same thing. Like Brad David, for example, during Australian tour, he said so many things,
Right.
which we also knew. So similarly, when I see something, I'll be the first one to go and let the captain or the coach know. I mean, I won't go to the player. I'm not a player, a certain player. I won't go like that. I mean, it's not nice. Maybe I'm adding too much pressure. But if I see something, I'll probably end up alerting the coach or the captain.
Interesting. So big match on Saturday. I'm sure you and I will be messaging each other. 50-50 is what 50-50 is what you're saying, but
I can't give 1%.
No. You say 51, 49.
I mean, as I said, my heart says it, but it's going to be a tough game. I'm telling you, it's going to be a crunch game.
I think that's why it's a crunch game, because if you win it, I think you're pretty much confident.
You're one foot in the second round.
Wow. All right.
You know, I think we should introduce a little bit of stagecraft to cricket. When you say you got mystery bowlers, you know, Mr. again no Goni waling wale. Just a ploy. People are major research. No video footage exists. Something. The IDs have been wiped. We don't know it. Complete mystery.
Looking forward. Asia Cup just around the corner, and it's time. It's almost time for the show.
Yes, it is beyond time, as usual.
But before we get into the answer of the poll, I think we have the winner for the deal of the day. And who is the winner for the day today?
Somebody's going to get nice and lucky and less pimply for sure, thanks to Dara's deal of the day. And here we are. Today's winner is Roshan Deshabandhu from Piliyandala. Completely random pick, as we don't get involved in this at all. So the Dara's deal of the day winner, Roshan Deshabandhu from Piliyandala. Congratulations. You've got a simple pimple solution courtesy of Dara's.
Congratulations, Roshan, and Dara's will get in touch with you. All right, time for us to get into the final segment of the show. We're going to reveal the poll that we started off at the beginning of the show. Let's have it right after this.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz, where you explore and discover whatever you want, whatever you need. All you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Daras, for being a part of the show. It's time for us to reveal the poll.
That's right. Today's poll was very simple. Can Sri Lanka overcome their problems playing spin against opponents stacked with spinners?
Before you actually give us the answer, I'm telling our producer, what do you think is the answer? What do you feel? Yes or no?
Sri Lanka overcome the problems playing against stacked with spinners? Probably yes.
Yes, we can. That's good news. Let's find out what our viewers basically say. Everyone watching us on Channel 1. Look, almost. 48% actually do say Sri Lanka can overcome their problems playing spin against opponents stacked with spinners.
I think we are used to,
No, we are not. That's the problem. We always, unfortunately...
The difference would be, in Dubai, it's a night game, the ball may be skidding, or not maybe, it will be skidding onto the bat. It won't be that difficult to play the spinners. When the surface is slow, especially when we played against Australia, it was slow and it was dying on the batsman. Then the batsman will struggle. But up in Dubai, you expect the ball to skid onto the bat. I think this is where they could make that 48% to the negative side.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. Anyway, Farveez, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you, Shaq. Pleasure.
Thank you, Farveez. It's a great chat with Farveez, of course. Dissecting the Asia Cup, looking forward to the Asia Cup. It's nice to have cricket fever back again.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time.
Missed it,
so we really did. And we've got lots to obviously lined up for you. We've got another set of wonderful guests coming up on the show. Don't forget, every Monday to Thursday, 9:30 to 10:30, right here on Channel 1 Dialogue TV and our platform on YouTube, on our platforms.
Before we go, I must just give a little bit of advice to Roshan. Today's winner, pimple
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. See you on Monday.
Yeah.